actually for me it's Monday, but I wanted to film today because I get so many questions, especially on TikTok, in my comment section about my hair, how I do my hair, how I style my hair, how I cut my hair, what I ask the hair cutters for. And so today I'm just going to show you pretty much everything. You see my bangs have really grown out, they need a trim, and the rest of my hair is honestly really long as well. My belly button's right here, so if that gives you a good indication, my hair is very long. And I usually know that it's time for a haircut when my hair looks like it's burying me in my pictures that I take when I find myself clipping my hair back almost every day. And my bangs, I have to cut way more often than the rest of my hair. Secret's out, I cut my own hair. I haven't been to a salon since almost 4 years now that I've been taking care of my own hair, cutting it myself, and it's the healthiest it's ever been, and it grows really fast. So something's working. And so today I just kind of wanted to show you that so that you could see what I do to get these bangs, especially in layers, and trim the bottom. And yeah, that's pretty much what today's video is gonna be. I don't know why I'm so nervous. I've done this for like 4 years now, like I said, but I'm nervous because now that I have an audience, I don't want to screw this up. So, but you know, without further ado, I am going to just go start cutting my hair. Okay, so first things first, I'm in the guest bathroom. I'm not wearing socks. I've moved the bathroom rugs out of the way so my hair doesn't stick to anything. And to prep my hair, I make sure it sticks straight, because if there's like curls or anything like that, then it's not going to be an even cut. Supplies that you will need, I just use a brush. I have lots of hair clips to pin up my hair and all different types of sizes just to make sure my hair stays out of the way. And most importantly, I have hair cutting shears, scissors. These are from Oster. I'll try to tag them. I've had these for a really long time. Okay, so I brought a lamp in here to improve some of this lighting, and I also grabbed a comb. So between the comb and the brush, I've got everything I need just to make sure that my lines are straight. I think the comb is a little bit better for that. But we're just gonna get started. Okay, so my bangs are actually driving me crazy. So I'm gonna start with my bangs first, and for this I'm just gonna pull all of my hair other than my bangs out of the way. You guys can see they are long. So now that I've got my bangs, look how crazy I look, I am going to trim. So I always start by parting them where I normally part my hair, which I think is right here. I pull my hair down like this, and I'll just trim off a good bit of what I want trims, but I do it longer than the length I want them at, because I still need to point cut and sort of like add some, not layers because they're bangs, but you'll see what I mean. So I just start by cutting like this. And I cut at an angle, so I'll leave my hands at an angle like this, and then just kind of cut down. Okay. And now they're kind of approaching that length that I want, but they're not quite there. So cut a little bit more. So now it does naturally, it comes right here at my eyebrow. And then I take this, like I use my thumb and just kind of take this top layer here and sort of take these pieces and I point to cut them. So it's about half of my bangs, like the top layer of my bangs, and I'll point cut them to be shorter. And now they're starting to look a little more human, and it looks like I still need to take some length off of this side right here, so I'm gonna do that. I start off slow because I'd much rather have to go back and cut a little bit more than I would prefer to have cut too much, and then I'm stuck like that for a couple of weeks until it grows out a bit. So, and then I'm just gonna go back and point cut that extra bit that I just re-trimmed. And point cutting looks scary. It looks like it's cutting off so much hair, but really all point cutting does is sort of like add life to what you're doing. It doesn't take off the overall length in general, because I still left this bottom piece the length I wanted it, and I'm just using this to make my bangs a little less heavy looking on my face. So I'm just gonna point cut a little bit more. And now I pretty much mirror the exact same thing on this side. I have split bangs, kind of like Anna, if you know what I mean. Anna from Frozen. I'll put it right here so you can see like her bangs split a bit. I'm just gonna cut, I just kind of cut upwards, but now I'm gonna point cut it. Now I'm just gonna comb my hair to make sure that it's falling where I had wanted it to land. And like you can see, this piece right here is too long, so I'm just gonna go ahead and snip it. This piece is still looking kind of heavy to me, so I'm going to point cut that. And it's all just a matter of preference. I am a bit of a mad scientist about the way I cut my bangs because I've been cutting my bangs for so long. I just kind of know what I want. But yeah, here we are with the bangs. And they do look a little funky because I left my hair dirty for this as well. But you can see already they are shorter, thinner, and they're where I need them to be. I style them with a little bit of a swoop motion, like a, so I'll show you how I do that. I've been doing this for so long now that my hair kind of naturally already knows that I want it to swoosh over. It's like I trained my hair. I don't know if that's a thing, but I'm pretty sure it is. The straightener at a relatively high temperature should do the trick, and I do the same thing on this side. It's just kind of like a swoop and then a pull it backwards. So you got the little bit of bang here and here. And now I'm starting to feel like me again. So the bangs are done. That's literally how easy it is. I think that point cut is a really big portion of it, of not having bangs that look like, you know, you're the leader of a pop punk band from the early 2000s kind of thing. It makes them just look light and dainty and pretty. A little bit of a close-up here. That's the bangs. Now to do the rest. Basically, I do my part down the middle. So I'll start off with the middle part. I just do what I can to keep my bangs out of the way, and I just ignore them. I do not cut them anymore. So I do not ever style my hair in a middle part, but it's just a good way to keep your hair even on both sides. And because your head has a curve, it really doesn't affect the way the final look is once you move your part back to where you normally like it. Okay, so there's my middle part. And basically what I do is take the top 2/3 of my hair, and I have a lot of hair also, so yours might not be as much work as me. Basically I just get all of that hair out of the way, and this is where you pick your longest length for your hair. And basically you then split this in half, and now you pick your length. So I'm gonna probably cut mine to this length, so that's how much I'm gonna take off. I don't want short hair after this haircut really, but I would like to cut a good chunk of it off, so probably this much. And I am literally just gonna cut it. And always cut a little bit less off than what you want, because then you go back and point cut. And then I'll just cut the same amount off to make sure that this side matches this side. And then point cut. And the point cut, you literally just snip into it. And then you're just gonna pull out the rest of that 1/3 of the bottom of your hair. And you can see where it was and where it is now, and just cut to make it match. And point cut again. Okay, so this will be my new length that I'm working with. And this is what it looks like. Okay, so now for the next part, pretty much, we're just gonna take all this hair and get it out of the way, because this is good. That part is good to go, that part is done. So I'm gonna let all the rest of my hair down and use a scrunchie on the rest. Keep the part in the center. So now what you do is take about 1 centimeter on each side of the middle part and grab it together. And it doesn't have to be a perfect centimeter. No one is coming to measure your hair for perfect symmetry. You don't really need to be a stickler about it. Doing the part is kind of where the comb will really be handy. And this will determine, where we cut this piece of hair, will determine how long the rest of our layers will be. Like this will be the shortest layer. I kind of want mine to be a good bit shorter, honestly. So I'm gonna cut off a good bit of this. Just make sure you hold it straight up. And then you can bring it around to look at it if you'd rather cut it in your face. I'm gonna cut off, I think, this much. And then point to cut it. Point cutting helps just anything from being harsh, you know? We don't want any harsh lines. So, I'm gonna pull the rest of this hair back really quick just so that you can see the layer that I just did. So now that's that first layer of hair that I've got. I'm just gonna cut this piece a bit shorter. I almost always at the end will go back and reframe my face with these pieces anyway, so these will probably get cut again, but I just wait until the end to do that. So here's the first layer. Still pretty short, but it's still long enough for me to pull back without me having hair in my face, so that's typically what I go for. So now, pull the rest of the hair out. So now that that first sort of layer has been cut, that layer will be your guide for the remainder of the time. So basically pick up the hair that we just cut plus some more down the side, and you should be able to see this is how long that first layer was, and so we're just going to cut the rest of it to be just about that length but a little bit longer. And it's really important to keep this hair tight so that your front is being pulled evenly with the back. Okay, so I just dropped that layer. So now we can start sort of moving our part over a tiny bit so that we're not picking up so much hair every time. And now once again, just pull some extra hair a little bit further down the head this time. Use that layer before as a guide and pull it straight up and bring it in front of your face. You can see this is the length it was, and now we're just gonna cut all this to be like this. And so we've done about to here. So I don't know if you can see the way it's tapering. This is the shortest, and it just gets a little bit longer each time. And now we're on like the very bottom piece. And so I usually don't touch that. I like to wait until the end to see how it blends with the hair I started out cutting. I think I'm just gonna end up like cutting it at the bottom. This side is done for now, and we're just gonna repeat everything that we just did on this side, on this side. Bottom layer left on both sides, so I'm gonna go fix my part and put it back. I'm actually gonna put it where I normally part my hair now so that I can start to frame it with my face and everything a little bit better. Just for reference, the longest layer ends about, I'd say here, so it usually almost always evens out in the end. And then I still have my hair from before, and I'm gonna pull that forward now just to make sure that the layers in where I wanted my hair to stop were nice. Yeah, so you can see that this bottom layer of my hair doesn't match the very like bottom portion that I had wanted it to be at, so I'm just gonna cut it to match it, if that makes any sense. The guide, like how long I wanted my hair to be from the start, is already shorter than one of my longer layers. And I point cut this one a little bit more dramatic, just because I'm trying to make it a layer still. Okay, so now we're good with the length. This is what the bottom of my hair looks like. It's already looking so much healthier and fuller, and I'm so happy about it. So see, I've got layers here. This is my shortest layer, and it goes all the way down here. I will say I definitely could leave it like this, and it's a beautiful haircut that I'm happy with, but I like to frame my face a little bit so that I can have more like in my face layers. So I'm just gonna pull this hair out of the way that's got nothing to do with the front of my face. Take a comb, pull those pieces out that I want And now what we're gonna do is pretty much just take the scissors and cut down at an angle. So basically just brush it down, grab it with your fingers, and then I'll point cut down at an angle. Then just do the same thing on the other side, kind of just point cut down. That point cutting that I just did, I'll show you what it looks like styled properly. So I usually just bring it around and curl it in. So you can see that I just kind of created. And then I'll style the other side so you can see. I always do this with my front facing layers when my hair is straight. I never leave them straight, so that's what that looks like. And for me, cutting these is like nothing. I have so much hair left still. So let me get all that hair out and see how it blends in with what I had before. Yeah, you can see all types of layers going on down here. And then to add even a little bit more texture, sometimes I'll take these top pieces and just cut random ones just a tiny bit shorter with a point cut. So I'm gonna go ahead and go in and do that. It just kind of adds more volume to the final look. To just kind of pull some random pieces and point cut. So these will be much shorter pieces. You don't have to do this part, especially if this is your first time trying to cut your hair at home, maybe don't. Just see how you like it at this point, and then if a couple days goes by and you're like, I wish I almost had a little bit more of like definition going on with these layers, then go back and cut some pieces just a little bit shorter. So like in high school, my mom actually got me into this whole hair cutting thing. She had a razor, a literal razor. But basically what it is say if this had a razor blade on it, you would just go down your hair like this and it would create like some shorter pieces down the side, and that's kind of where I got this from, but I think it's really rough on your hair, so doing it with scissors I think is a little bit better for your hair. But because I have such thick hair, I don't have to be super careful with it, because if I mess up one thing, you're not even gonna notice it. So if you do not have thick hair like me, this will still work for you, but definitely pay a little bit more attention to it and maybe don't go back at the end and cut random pieces. But to me, it doesn't affect anything. I'm literally just snipping into it from the bottom. This way it's not some randomly harsh cut piece of hair, and it just kind of blends in wherever it ends up falling. Like I'm telling you guys, you don't even know how thick my hair actually is. Maybe after this you will, but... So I'm going to style it right now by curving in all the layers that I just cut so you can really see them all. My hair is kind of all blending together right now. And I'm just using my normal that I talk about all the time, my Know Nothing Very Sensitive Heat Protection Spray. Okay, so I just styled it, but the lighting in here is insane. So I am gonna go and show you in natural lighting really quick. Okay, so here's the cut. Here's the layers. You can see them all. To be honest, this is definitely one of the best jobs I've ever done. I'm very happy with it, but this is what it looks like when it's dirty and like styled to be straight. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to the gym, wash my hair tonight, curl it tomorrow, and just show you what it looks like curled too. So until then, I'm just gonna go enjoy the rest of this day, curl my hair in the morning, and share the way that looks with you. Hey, good morning. It is the next day. I washed my hair last night and my hair dried with like some curl in it, which made me laugh because I used to have naturally curly hair, but just over time I lost it, but my hair was feeling so happy and healthy that it dried a little curly. So this is what it looks like when I curl it with a curling rod. Super voluminous and looking healthy, and it was so fast and easy to curl, and it's stayed in for a few hours, and I've had the door open all morning for like hours. It's been humid and raining and my hair is still in place, so it's definitely time for a trim. But yeah, that's it. Just keep in mind I have very thick, long dark hair, and you might not have the same hair type as me, so definitely take this video with a grain of salt. I think it could work for anybody, but if you're afraid but you still like the haircut, you could maybe just take the video to your hairdresser. Just be very clear that you want those thick layers. But yeah, just don't want anybody mad at me if your haircut doesn't turn out. I've never had bad luck with this, but there have been times where I've cried thinking I screwed up my hair, and then it ended up being totally fine, and I actually ended up loving it. So just be patient with yourself. But that's everything for this video. I will be back next week with a new video. Drop down anything below that you would like to see from me, and I hope you have an amazing week ahead, and I'll see you next time. Bye!